Start. And we should be up and running.
What's our thing? A-Day what?
Stand for the flag, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Molly.
Trustee Erk.
Here.
Trustee Millet.
Here.
Mayor Jarvis.
Here.
Trustee Dorigo.
Here.
Trustee Fulmer.
Here.
This time we open up the board meeting to public concerns. Public can call the village office number at 315-482-9902. Those that have text, they can do my cell number, 315-778-9098. We'll give a couple minutes for it to catch up.
Are we on?
Anybody out there can text me that we're up and running. Pam McDowell. Anybody's on for up?
What's the address? Do we know?
Right on the top of your agenda.
Oh, I see.
What are you doing to that?
Yes, we're up.
Oh, I guess we're now on up. We're okay? Yep. Okay. And no public concerns. We have correspondence, letter of complaint. Have a letter from James Toussaint about the golf course. He's very unhappy that the golf course was not opened the way he believes it should have been done. Second was a letter from Karen Veneps Peters from Church Street. She initially complained about the front of her lawn that wasn't fixed from the water project. Since that time it has been fixed and she's very happy about it. Good. Correspondence from Chamber of Commerce. They have canceled Rockin' in the Bay, scheduled for August 27th through the 30th. Blues in the Bay, September 4th through the 7th. The village-wide yard sales have been canceled. Rolling Street Thunders canceled. The Wine Festival, Farmers Market, scheduled for September 19th, was canceled. And they thank you for their support and cooperation with all their events that they perform. Correspondence from a William Schroeder. He's the mayor of Lancaster, New York. Dear Mayor and Trustees, my girlfriend and I spent the weekend in your village. Truly enjoyed our visit. We stopped in all the shops and most restaurants, took 3 boat tours, would not hesitate to return. The streets and areas are clean, well maintained, and help to enhance that architecture and beauty of the area. We look forward to returning. Best regards, William Schroeder, Mayor of Village of Lancaster, New York.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
And we have a letter from Attorney Burroughs in regards to the FOIL request for the police officer records.
I can summarize that. In a nutshell, public records, Molly deals with them all the time. Up until June, the Civil Service Law, Section 50A, was in place, and it was intended to protect police personnel records, fire department personnel records, and the like, for privacy issues. And what the Civil Service Law did was it said those types of records are not releasable unless either that officer waives it or there's a court order. It was designed just to provide a measure of protection for people that they might be targeted by others. In June, the governor repealed Section 50A. And when he repealed Section 50A, what that meant was personnel records of police officers, firefighters, medics, and the like, they can be released under certain circumstances. What I'm seeing now is there have been some blanket requests by different entities. One that I've seen is known as Muck Rock, and they'll serve a blanket request asking all personnel records of police officers over the last 50 years. And as you can imagine, it can be kind of crazy and voluminous. That topic, as you can imagine, a lot of the police officers, firefighters, medics, they're really upset with what the governor's done. They sued the state in Supreme Court, and a temporary restraint was placed on releasing records of that nature. It was then removed to federal district court because of federal constitutional questions. An injunction was issued by the federal court that's statewide right now. That topic is going to be reviewed and addressed probably over the next 30 to 60 days. The point really is that if you haven't, you may very well get hit with a voluminous FOIL request. And what my recommendation is begin the process of assembling records, but do not release the records at this time. There's a couple of things we've got to number one, make sure that this injunction is eventually lifted. If it's not, they're not going to get the records, except as Civil Service Law used to provide. We've had other municipalities that have contacted us, and one of the other things that we've done is there's a provision in the Public Officers Law that lets us get a certification from the entity confirming that they're not going to sell the information or provide it to somebody else who's going to use it for different purposes. And so we've already found that apparently that's what they're looking to do, is get this information, assemble it, give it to whatever group that gosh knows what they want to use it for. So I just want to make sure the village is aware that that's out there right now, so please be on guard for it. Things will sort out over the next 3 months or so.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes from July 14th, 2020 for the public hearing and regular meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll
Motion by
second.
trustee Millet,
I'll second.
second by trustee Fulmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 6 good. Motion to pay the bills. Pay abstract number 3 and number 4.
Make a motion, we pay abstract number 3 and 4.
I'll
Motion
second
by
that.
trustee DeRigo, second by trustee Millet. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Trustee reports. Trustee Fulmer?
Mine is all later down below, so do you want to do it now or later?
We'll wait.
Really don't have a lot. The only thing that I've done in the last couple of days, I've met with Molly and had some signs made for up at the golf course. I put them on both doors of the tennis court because we've had people up there playing hockey with rollerblades and hockey nets up there. So I put signs up on both doors, no rollerblading or playing hockey. And I think, did you put it on the website? I asked you, and it's on the website now.
Yes.
So, if I see the gentleman that's doing it, I'm gonna see if I can make arrangements. Maybe if they can be, I'm gonna try to see if I can get them so they can get in the skate rink, maybe down there and use the skate rink. Well, we can't have them skating on that
No.
purple, because it's ripping it up.
No.
So, that's the only thing I have.
Trustee DeRigo?
Just, nothing really to report. I know the docks have been busy because it's been free all summer long. That's all I got to report.
Good dear.
The only thing besides what's already on our new business is Next week, I'll do the annual audit of the court system. Get that to the state.
DPW's been busy. Jared just got back after 2 weeks vacation and, just regular normal work that they've been, picking up the brush and so forth around the village, painting, signposts, getting things cleaned up. State was in and painted again downtown, all the white, crosswalks. The crosswalk on Church Street at Margaret was painted by the state, but they didn't put the signs up.
And I think that, we had Brewster running the DPW for 2 weeks there while
Mhm.
Jared was on vacation, and I think it was one of the best times that Jared had taken off time for vacation. He didn't get called every 2 minutes. The guys are doing a real good job with it.
No zoning. Police department had 45 complaints to arrest 12 vehicle and traffic violations, 24 building checks, and 2 parking tickets. Respectfully, Officer Josh David. Old business, Casino Island ramp.
You wanna start, Judy, and?
Okay, we have, everybody had a picture of the ramp, the L-shaped ramp, and you had the, switchback. He has an estimate, a proposal from TJ Fiacco for the, ramp, which includes everything, correct? For $137,000, and option 2, the switchback design, is $159,000. And I recommend that we do the $137,000 ramp, and we will stay under budget. Go ahead.
Correct, I was just gonna add in that the current, remaining budget is $140,860.19. So that takes into account what was left over in his contract. There was a field director order that was not used, and there was a few other line items that there were some remaining, funds in. So that's the total remaining amount, to date right now.
Question, when is that gonna be used by?
It is, I think it is the end of November.
On the 21st,
I think you'll be able to,
Was it the
I
21st?
think so, it's November 21st.
21st, so if we decided today, or if we talked about it and we decided today, would that start the process, even though it wouldn't get done until after Columbus weekend?
His thought is to start after Labor Day, sometime between Labor Day and Columbus Day in that
Yeah.
range, if that works for the village.
Yeah, I just don't think we want them doing it before Labor Day, you know. I mean, there's a lot going on downtown still,
Yeah, definitely.
and I think
right, but do you think there's enough people out on Casino Island that we can't get this done this year? We
Well-
don't wanna
well-
miss the deadline.
No, that's why my question was, if we decided that we wanted to vote on it tonight and it passes tonight, and we say, yes, we wanna start it, well, if it gets started, we'll say September 30th, just hypothetically, and it's not done by November 1st, it'd still be covered, right?
He's projecting 4 to 8 weeks for everything, to get everything, all the materials over there. Obviously, he's gonna use a barge.
Cause he still also has to do,
Right, but
The
my
wall
question
work?
in the whole thing is, if we start the project, the money will still stay there, right? Is that, I mean.
We'll confirm, if the village wants to move forward with this proposal, we'll, work with the Office of Community Renewal.
is it November 1st or the end of?
21st,
I
I
think
believe.
that's
Yeah,
all-
I think it was towards the end of the
It is
month.
towards the end.
Is that the date that the money runs out, or is that the date that the last project has to be started?
That was our extension, so we
Yeah,
requested
You
an
have to be
extension
done by then,
Has to be
has
done.
to be done
And
by
that
that
was-
date.
for project completion.
I would start it right after Labor Day.
Well, we're gonna lose the money, no matter what, if we don't
Right.
do it.
Right.
So at least we get it done, and this is with railings, everything, complete.
This is railing, complete ramp.
Well,
And
and it's money
Yes.
that's there, so I mean.
Yes, and it is staked out down there if anybody wants to go take a look at it.
And I think Jared had a chance to look at it
Jared
today
went
too.
today to look at it,
Well,
and he,
um,
and we had talked about last meeting
Right.
of maybe doing it ourselves. And I don't know that it's a project that we want the DPW to take on, because
well,
It's
that,
too
and
much.
it has to be done by November first, so we don't have enough time with our.
We don't have the time to do it.
no, so
I'm
I
gonna
would
make
like.
a motion that we, go ahead with this, ramp at, the first ramp at 140.
137.
137.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we're gonna lose the money if we don't use it.
We have
We
to
better
use it. Yeah, I'd like to second that motion.
Motion by trustee Millet, and seconded by trustee Fulmer, to proceed with the L ramp on the Casino Island side of,
Immediately after Labor Day.
to start right after Labor Day.
That'll be fine. I mean, the chambers canceled everything. So,
Right.
I mean, we're,
Everything's, all in favor?
Aye.
plus the days are
Opposed?
getting shorter. Getting
That
shorter
motion
now.
carried.
Can you check and see that if we do have any money left, if we can buy a bench or two?
I'll check.
With it,
What kind of, what kind of bench?
anything for out there.
We got a bunch of benches up for the golf course, so we have extra benches left over. I mean, if you want to put them weight benches out there that we have at the golf course, because the Paddle for Betterment bought all those plastic ones that we have up there.
Well, something, we'll have $3,500 to spend.
Well, we'll spend that money too.
Yes, we'll do something.
Picnic benches though, or just a standard bench for someone to sit on?
I don't know, what do we need out
I would
there?
say
I know.
picnic, if you're gonna do any benches, I would say put picnic bench, out there, so people can go out, and if we're gonna do it, then they go out and sit there and have lunch and
How do we secure them so they don't end up in the river? Are the others concreted down?
They pour blocks and chain them to the block.
Why can't we look into benches that are made out of cement? Picnic benches, they make real heavy ones.
We've done that before.
yeah, but.
They
and
don't
those-
float, they don't float, do they?
They don't
No,
float,
but-
they've ended up in the river.
It doesn't matter what you do, I mean, if you put blocks on, they're still gonna get in the river.
Right, but at least we can try, okay. All right.
Maybe we ought to get some wooden ones that will float.
Okay, and we are not writing any more checks to Fiasco until everything is done. Done.
Correct.
Right.
He has some, he has an outstanding payment application right now.
About how much?
It, was payment application number 3. It included some restoration, some retainage, I think, but he has to finish up the restoration. We talked about having to come back once the weather's more appropriate for grass growing. So right now, that's on hold, that payment, until he gets that finished. So there may be a payment application in between if
Or
he completes his current contract.
Okay,
And then this will be totally separate.
okay,
This will be a separate part of the project.
so he still has stuff there to do.
Correct.
Okay.
All set, Judy?
So, it for Casino Island?
Number 2 is project budget reports. Is that gonna be Thomas calling in?
Yeah, either or. Did everyone receive a copy? Thomas sent them out this afternoon for each of the projects.
This is for the Ready Commission.
It is for Church Street,
Yeah, 3 or 4 of them.
Can we-
Casino Island, and the Ready project.
Can we do, Church Street first?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So Church Street is complete. There's approximately $1,600 left in the budget. I think there was one call from a property owner that Tim followed up on and Jesse followed up on regarding a section of curb.
The asphalt curb, Martin, corner of Church and
Yeah.
Rockwell. Jesse's gonna put it back as asphalt curb.
It's my understanding Jesse's gonna address it, and I think that's the only item that's come up so far.
Yeah, as far as I know.
So that's really, at this point, is complete.
We're done. So what do you need from us at this point? Nothing?
Nothing at this point. The only thing that we owe the village at this point is record drawings, which will finalized, and that'll show you where everything is.
What do we owe
So,
him?
Jesse,
Yeah,
everything's
We're done,
complete, he
okay.
submitted his closeout documents, so. Really, at this point, it's just warranty items. If you have any warranty items that come up, he can, come back and address those, and that warranty's, good for 1 year.
slightly under budget.
Don't get me on that one.
We are slightly under budget, on time and under budget. Okay, I'm done.
Good with that one? Casino Island, separate, Form E for the, Casino Island, and this has been updated based on the actual remaining amount. So Thomas has, included the contingency, updated contingency amount in red. As you can see, it's a little over 140,000.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone voted on to use towards the ramp, the L-shaped ramp.
Okay.
And that's that one, right?
That's that one.
All right.
And so the final is for the Ready projects. Thomas has developed an overall summary sheet, and then he has each of the projects broken down, and that's the funding requirement. So he has the water treatment plant separate, he has the docks separate, and has the wharf separate. And as far as I know, there hasn't been any modifications to the budget at this point. They're still fairly early in the whole process, in the design process, so.
We don't have any meetings coming up for this yet, do we?
No, I was gonna talk about that, I don't know if you wanna talk about it now or include it under another line item in the agenda, but we were hoping to schedule a meeting either the last full week in August or the first week in September to give a progress update to the village and start looking at the design documents. I don't know if it'd be best to do that as a work session, but we're flexible on the day and time.
I think we could do that as a workshop, then we wouldn't have to advertise it, would we?
Just have to notify the paper.
Yeah. We'd be further ahead doing
Okay.
I'm available
that.
Wednesday.
Not on Wednesday.
Not on Wednesdays?
No Wednesdays.
Okay. We can finalize that at some point, but, that's our schedule. We'd like to try to go through everything. We'll probably have some questions so we can start finalizing documents. Still on schedule for getting permits this fall, early winter. And, with a goal of having everything ready to bid for next year construction.
Right. Good.
Julia, any days you,
Not Monday.
So not Mondays or Wednesdays.
what time do you prefer?
Anything after 4:30.
We could do a 5 or 5:30.
I can do Wednesdays that late. That late at night, I can, as long as you don't do it during the day.
Was
You
it
said
easy?
the end of August,
Either the last week in August, or
that'd be the 26th, that's a Wednesday.
As
Wednesday,
long as it's set to 4, that'll be fine.
does anyone have a preference that week? 26th, 27th,
26th,
one of those?
26th?
Don't tell Thomas I let you do a Wednesday.
Hmm?
I said, don't.
He's listening.
I know he is, like, that's
I'm
what I
good for the
said.
26th.
What's that?
I'm good for the 26th.
Yeah, we're good for the 26th.
Okay.
26th,
8/26 at what time?
what works for everyone?
What
5
time?
or 5:30?
5 o'clock?
I do let's get in now. 'cause-
Yeah.
And this is for Ready?
This is for the Ready projects,
Only Ready.
just, unless there's other items that,
I was
Those
just curious
ones
about the sewer.
Yeah, do you wanna talk about that now too, or wait?
It's down here on the thingamajigger.
What time did you say, 5?
5 o'clock.
All right,
That's it on that.
Okay. Number 3 is EFPR report. Does everybody have a copy of the financial statement for July 2020?
Molly says we should have the end of year at the end of the month.
Yes. Yep.
The AUD at the end of the month. Number 4 is building electric savings. We had a survey of the building done back in March, and then with COVID, it was shut down. Was presented to the village again. This is for National Grid LED conversion. It would save us money, but basically, it would be approximately $4,200 to switch the lights over, but we don't have any money in the budget to convert this. This is on this building to switch all the lights from fluorescent lights to
Is
LED.
it just this building?
This building, yes.
Was this part of that, didn't this come down from the governor about reducing our costs, our footprint by so much
Yes.
percent by 2024?
I think so.
I don't think we have the money to do it this year.
I don't know.
It says, you would save $510 a month, but you would pay $859 a month. So it would go up $350 for 12 months, and then we'd see the savings. But we don't have the money.
I don't think we wanna put the money out there right now.
No, that's next year's budget.
Next year's.
The world is better.
We got a lot of projects going on, we don't even know.
Yes. New business, wastewater treatment plant.
So I spoke to Kevin on this so everyone understands, and he is willing to come and address the board or do a work session or whatever we need to in reference to some things that need to be done down there. But that's why we spoke to Gregor the other day in reference to the studies to see when we may be able to move forward with that, if we can wait or if we should spend the money now. But Kevin is willing to sit with the board and go over all of that. Julia, did he talk to you about it too?
I went down and spoke to him. I think the couple of things that he
Really needs.
looked into that are safety concerns, I think we should go forward and approve them and let them get fixed. Because as we know how long projects take, and we don't even have the report yet about the sewer plant and what we're gonna do about it. So that could be 4 years down the line before we're getting in there. So when I went down to speak to him, you know, we talked about some parts, and he said, well, I could wait if I know it's gonna be a part of this project, but part of this project could take 4 years. So, I mean, if it's a real safety concern, I think that the money should be spent now and address these issues. And there are some lights, which many meetings ago, we approved him purchasing and putting in the lights around the outside. So I'm not really sure why it never got done, but, so that has already been approved in last year's budget. So, and I believe there is money in the sewer line item to address these safety issues.
Yeah, there's something about alarm there too, and there's 2 or 3 different
One
things.
is the chlorine gas detector, and that's $5,333. The master meter is, one second,
That's 18,000.
if he did this separately, The gas meter is $5,000, the master meter is $13,830.
There's some of them there though that he said that he could wait on.
Some, yeah. So I think we need to sit down with them and
Yeah.
find out exactly what is,
Yeah,
And
'cause he said there was a
If the
lot on
company,
that
the
list.
company comes up and does the two of them together, we're gonna save $1,000, it'll be $18,903.
Yeah.
And
But I think we're further
after
ahead.
speaking with our accountant, there is a reserve for the wastewater treatment plant, but it would have to go through a meeting to be moved. We have to set a,
That's one of those.
we have to have a meeting to be able to move the funds from reserve into there to take care of that. That's why we would, we should speak with him first, but we can. There is funds extra if it's not enough in his budget, okay? So we can move
But
them.
I think we might better wait and you meet with him or whoever else wants to meet with him and go from there and find out what he really wants on his thing first.
Okay.
Cause there was so many there was so much listed on there, he said, no, I don't need that, I don't need to do this
Yeah.
and this and this, he says there was a lot of stuff listed on that thing that he said that he could get by without.
Do you have that?
No, I don't have a copy of that. If I could get a copy, I would be interested in looking through his list.
Sure, I can.
The other thing I was gonna add is that it would be good for Kevin to look through the report that was previously completed,
I think he had it,
if he has a copy of it.
he's already went through it.
He does have a copy.
Yeah, he
Okay.
went through it the other day, he did write some things down. There was some things that need to be updated, and there was some stuff that aren't on that list, actually. So he said he'd like, he will take care of that and go through that list also.
Okay. Yeah, and if the board would like, I could plan to meet with him at some point and go through that list, and we would use any recommendations that he has to update the report too.
Very good.
When will that report be done?
Well, the goal or the plan so far has been to complete the overall water report, and then go to the wastewater, but if we need to, we could try to do both in parallel.
Have we heard about the PPG grant, or not yet?
The rural development grant,
Sure.
Thomas is still waiting to hear from rural development on that one.
At some point, I mean, since we're talking about this, depending if rural development comes through, we may have to, I think we're reaching for some stuff that I don't think they're gonna give us, and it may just get to a point where we have to say, okay, stop, let's just do this, and, take the money that they do give us and get done. So we don't end up doing what was the other thing we did? Wait for money and we went again. FEMA.
Do you wanna wait on the,
Well, we want Kevin to, let us know on that.
okay.
We can set up a work session with Kevin. And then I'll let you know, Gregor.
Sure.
So we can be included, everybody can be included. Okay.
Number 2 is Jaws of Life for Alex Bay Fire Department. Molly looked at, initially it was sent from one company, and she checked with Watertown Savings Bank, and she got a lower interest rate for it. The question is whether it's a 3-year, 4-year, or 5-year.
Chief would like the 5-year.
Chief would like a 5-year.
Yeah, I talked it over with David, I met with David, and we sit down and figured out the 3-year, the 4-year, and the 5-year, and he says, if you get the 5-year plan, if I'm right, well, he said that it wouldn't affect the taxpayers at all, there'd be enough money in the budget each year to take the money out to make the payments and not raise their budget, so 5 years would be a safer plan for them. Am I right?
Correct.
It's the same rate.
Same rate.
Watertown Savings Bank gave us the same rate for 3,
All
4,
years.
or 5 years.
But it
Which
made it a little bit more
Right.
flexible for them for the 5-year plan, the amount of the money that they had to come up with. So,
And I don't know if any of you, they were remarkable. I'm not easily impressed, but
you
the
can look.
display that guy put on, man, I'm telling you what. takes probably a half hour to 45 minutes to, you know, if you get a real bad wreck, to cut through that car. And I'll bet you these will do it in about 20 minutes, and you have patient care going faster than that.
Well, how old are the ones that we have? Well, they're older than old.
12 to 15 years old.
I mean, they're old.
And the service on them costs us like $1,200 to $1,500 every 3 years. So,
Do you want to explain how, that they have to be plugged in and a generator has to be carried and all that?
with the old ones,
Yes.
well, the old ones are hydraulic. You have a generator that operates the hydraulic portion to it. And when you activate the hydraulic portion to it, the jaws will come in contact with the vehicle itself, and then you'll notice a slowdown while it's kicking up the pressure to the pump, and then they'll start to cut, and it's a slow, steady cut. These things, when you squeeze the trigger, they're cutting. I mean, it's just, and it's done.
They're light too.
They're light, you're not dragging, I think the hose assemblies that we have, come in 25 and 50s. You're not dragging 300 foot of hydraulic hose all over an accident scene for somebody to trip and fall and break their neck. Just the ease of which these things operate. There was 3 of us that are old school, and I'm old school. I've been in that department 45 years, and I'm a firm believer that, well, geez, if you got something that's working, you know, why mess with it? But these things impress the heck out of me. I'm not easily impressed. He put on such a display. I don't know if you see the car out back that we caught. We could have had that in strips of scrap if he let those kids play with it the rest of the night. But you know, he got his point across, and he's been on the road like 5 straight days putting on display. So he wanted to get out of here too. But they're a heck of a tool, and I'm telling you, if we only have to use them once and it saves somebody's life, I don't care if it costs $1 million. If it saves one life, that's, you know. But these are reasonable compared to what Clayton bought, what Redwood bought, and what have you, and they're 3 times a unit. I mean, even Chris Barton, chief of Clayton, was impressed with how much faster and better these things operate.
Well, like I said, I met with David a few times, Walton, and met with him a few times, and he said that, you know, they figured in their budget, they've been laying the numbers out and stuff in their budget. As long as they went with a 5-year plan, they wouldn't have to have any more money put in for them. So, I don't know.
Even with, and Molly told us that the payment for the vehicle is going to increase, they're still doing that.
Right.
And that budget for that $5,000.
Right, because I had paperwork, and I figured all the percentages of the dollars.
I have copies of it, just like to look at.
We're talking about the, battery.
The wall battery.
Yep.
Yeah,
60 volt wall battery.
Right.
The cutters are a 9 amp, the spreaders the cutters are a 2 amp, the spreaders are a 9 amp. And one of the attachments that they got, the jaws open to a 32-inch opening. With these attachments, it takes it from a 32 to a 44-inch opening, so you can lock onto the door and the jamb, and it pulls it away from the patient. Shook, I don't know if you remember using the old jaws.
Oh, yeah.
When you went to open a thing, you actually push the door into the patient slightly, and then it can back out. But these just pull right away from the thing.
This is what we talked about the other day in the office?
Yes, yeah.
What's 40-some thousand? Is it?
No,
25
for the
25
outfit.
Okay.
Or 25,770.
And this was in your budget already, right?
It would be.
The payment would come out of the budget without any increase to the taxpayers or any increase to the budget.
Well, I talked to Molly after I talked to David, and she got a hold of, I think it ended up being Watertown Savings.
What?
And the interest rate was, the same, and the way they wanted this was one payment a month, or one payment a year, but Watertown Savings won't do that, but we can pay a payment every month out of the budget, automatically, electronically. And I feel if we can keep that interest rate, they can keep their budget where it is. One life, like you said, it doesn't matter. I'd like to make a motion, we allow Molly to look into the interest rate and allow the fire department to get it if everything works out.
I'll second that, as long as it's not adding
No,
tons of money to our budget.
Motion by trustee Millet, second by trustee Palmer. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So if you hold off on talking about painting, or?
Well, I wanna hold off on the painting because, we don't know how many gallons you're gonna need and stuff like that. So I talked with Chris this morning, and I wanted to meet with Dave and kind of look that over. They wanna, the fire hall hasn't been painted in years and stuff, and
Since we moved in.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
so-
just, you know, the diesel smoke and what have you, the stuff on the walls is just getting grungy
and we don't know if it's gonna be 6 gallons, 8 gallons, 10 gallons, or 12 gallons, so we're gonna sit down and do a figure there, and I think that I can get some of the paint donated.
All right, we'll table that.
Yep, so I plan on doing that in the next few days, go over there. Something else with the fire hall though, remember last year when the building, settled on our, copper pipe underneath the building here and squashed the line for the fuel tank?
Mhm.
I talked to Jared, I went down and met with Jared yesterday, and he had a price from one person on running a line from the tank through the sealants over to the boilers. And I talked to another gentleman, and he'd like to give us a price on that also, and put a lift pump to push the fuel from there to our boilers over here. And so, I think that's something, we're into August, it's gonna start getting cold.
That affects your side of the building.
It's only this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the tank's over there, and we have no fuel to our boilers over here, so.
And whether you know it or not, and Shooky will tell you the same thing, this side of the building uses twice as much fuel as what the fire department side uses.
There was 2 things I checked into. I checked into the raw fuel tanks, and I met with David on that
Just the
too.
boiler system there
They're not
that
big
you have in there.
So
just-
that's why we can't do that out there. And they
it
got the,
I mean, I think
You've
it's
got a tank just sitting there.
undersized,
and that's not legal.
you know?
No.
So it burns more to maintain.
So I'd like to have that other guy come out and give us an estimate on it too, and then give us 2 estimates on putting it there.
David used to fill the tanks here, and he says you just wouldn't believe it. He says, we'll go 2 weeks without having to put anything over there, and he says, you guys are every week, and add like 200-300 gallons almost every week.
Yeah, 'cause I talked to him about putting a raw tank in here, and I told him 275 would fit in this corner, and he said, 275 wouldn't last us a week when it's cold.
Well, how old is the furnace?
They're boilers, they're
They're
not,
boilers.
they're not,
They're not old.
they're not that old.
5 years maybe?
Really?
It's the most.
Ticky and Jim put them in, right?
Yeah. They went down not long ago. I mean, like, you're talking, I remember
3-4
the
years.
emergency meeting, because we had no heat, and they
Yep.
replaced both boilers. So you're talking 4 or 5 years.
So they were undersized to start with?
I believe, I mean, compared to what was in there before, it appears to be, yes. But, I mean, smaller doesn't necessarily mean it's undersized. I mean, it may be something that's more efficient, but I know size-wise, what they took out and what they replaced, there was a noticeable difference.
But
I've never seen the specs, so I can't tell you whether.
I'll check into the
Molly.
fuel thing, and at the same time, I'll check into the paint for the fire hall.
So we'll get it.
I'll work with David on the paint, and you on the paint over there.
Where was
so.
that on this? Is that number 3?
No, it was just a,
What,
Okay,
the fuel line?
good.
No, it was
Yeah.
coming from the fire
Thank
department's
you.
way, Rob.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Walt.
Support?
Number 3, Lake Ontario local match.
so that is a form that we have to fill out for, Thomas. Just go through the meeting, make a resolution, as it says on the bottom, so you can pass. And that is for the Ready Grant.
So resolution authorizing Lake Ontario Resiliency Economic Development Initiative local match.
Thomas?
Hey, Thomas.
Village office.
Hi, it's Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
Hey, hello. I've been working with EFT and DASNY, and they need a resolution from the village depicting how you're gonna pay the local match, and that's what I prepared, and I sent to Molly and asked her to put it on the agenda. And it just says, like, outlines, what happened if the village applied for funding, and that they were awarded funding, and that your local match is the 5%, and that you intend to bond for that in the future. So you intend to bond for it. And then they need that along with a copy of your ban when you take it out, and everything will be good to go.
When will we ban for it, or bond for it? When do we have to bond for it?
Well, you already passed the bond resolution for it, so now it's just when we decide to take out the money, and I walked through this with Tina last week about the projected cash flows, and she's gonna get back to me when she thinks that it would be best for you guys to borrow the money.
Okay, so this is something we've already approved, now this is just the paperwork to make it,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Correct.
That's what I
This
thought.
is so you
I
get your
thought we
grant
had-
agreement.
okay.
Okay. I
Yeah,
thought
we
it was-
we just received the certificate that we can borrow the funds, that there was no, petition, there was no petition.
Okay, so you need a
Against the
motion?
borrowing the bond, or getting the
So-
bond.
Motion, signed.
We need a motion to, the village, whereas the estimated maximum projected cost to complete noted improvements is $3,600,000. The village is to pass a bond resolution, we passed a bond resolution June 2nd, 2020, authorize the issuance of the serial bonds or statutory installment bonds to the amount not to exceed $3,600,000. And whereas under the READY program, the local match must be at least 5% of the READY grant award of $3,360,000. So therefore, it be resolved, the Village of Alexandria Bay authorizes and appropriates a minimum of 5% local match as required by the READY program. Question adoption of the foregoing resolution is duly put to a vote, roll call, and a vote will be as follows.
Okay,
So
you
we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to sign the resolution for the Lake Ontario local match.
I'll second it.
So motion by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee Millet to authorize the resolution to go with the ready match. So we need a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, trustee Erk,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Jarvis,
Yes.
trustee Dorigo,
Yes.
trustee Fulmer.
Yes.
Is that okay, Thomas?
Yep, you all set?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you.
Next is the Municipal Solutions Agreement, authorized to sign. This is a continuing disclosure contract renewal with Municipal Solutions.
So after talking with Tina, we use Municipal Solutions. They keep us in line with all of our bond payments, our, rural development payments, all of that. They send me notices when they're due, the exact amounts they're due, where to send them, how to send them. They keep us all in line with that. We can also utilize them for our bonding. When we want to bond for payments also, we tend to use them because we have their services on hand. And Tina and I did talk in length about it, and yes, we want to keep them because they can also give us rates. They're really good at doing all that. They can go in and look up when we want to do these projects, or they can help us seek out, funds, for a lot of things. So I believe it's very important that we keep them.
That's already in our budget.
What's the cost on that?
So it all depends on how many bonds and everything,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, how many projects they are doing
I
for
kinda
us.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, do you need a motion to
Yes,
keep
please.
them? I'll make a motion, we keep them municipal solutions.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Millet, second by trustee DeRigo, to authorize the sign for continuing municipal solutions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, Trevor Bogart for the ZBA appointment.
Well, I'll tell you, it's nice to have a name in there. I think he'd make a good person for the ZBA, and, he's a young guy, that's what we want in there, we want to have people like that. How many openings we got on there?
2.
2? 1 now? I'm making a motion that we.
We've had 2 for a long time also.
I make a motion we put Trevor Bogart on the ZBA board.
Motion by trustee Millet,
I'll second it.
Yeah.
second by trustee Erb, to appoint Trevor Bogart to the ZBA. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And number 6 is the water treatment panel.
I don't know. We had it all straightened out the other day too. His term to end, he's taking over for,
Kim Honeywell?
yes. I can go look, I'll go. Okay.
What, he's terming out, you mean?
Yeah, what year, so he's replacing, Kim Honeywell, he's taking her position and when she, I have it on the calendar in there, I should have.
Well, whichever one has the longest, whoever was there, whichever one has the longest term, that's the one you wanna give it. Cause if there's two people missing.
So I will calculate that, so we can add it to our minutes. Can I say that like that?
Yes.
Okay. I will look, tomorrow morning and I will add it to the minutes that when the term will end.
Yep.
So the water treatment alarm panel is in need of update. Original panel keypad was installed 18 years ago, and they don't make a lot of it anymore. The Stat Communication gave a price of $1,110.
I think this is one of those things we got wrote up on or something, didn't we?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we need to upgrade that.
We have to do that.
I would make the motion that we
Yeah,
do that.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Palmer, second by trustee Millet, to approve the Stat Communication update to the water plant. All in favor?
Because that was one of those deals that we should have did it a couple weeks
Motion
ago.
carried.
But I was waiting until.
Yeah, the meeting.
I understand.
Oh, it's a good thing I flipped it over. Number 7 is to make Josh David's position competitive. Human Resources requests this for his position.
What's
So
that?
after speaking with Human Resources, they call us quite often, stating that all of our officers are only supposed to work 20 hours a week, or, yes, pay period. So Josh,
10 hours a week?
no, 20.
Well, you said
20.
20 hours a pay period, we work 2 weeks, right?
Okay, so they can only work 20 hours,
40 hours of pay period, 20
Correct.
hours a week.
20 hours a week, thank you.
Okay.
So what they're stating is that Josh goes over that, and they have to keep sending back our certifications. They won't certify our payroll because of it. It doesn't make a difference at this point. He is already competitive in his other positions. All the village has to do is make a resolution that we, make his position competitive so that we don't have issues, with our certifications.
Okay, so what
payroll
does that mean we
certification.
have to do?
So
All we have to do is make a motion that his position is a competitive position,
when you say competitive, you mean that has to, that is something that
not
happens?
off the list. He doesn't have to be off the list. She told me he does not have to be off the list.
So him not being competitive, we'll say hypothetically he gets done tomorrow. The next person that we put in there, would they be not competitive too?
You mean in his position?
Well, it depends on how many hours we're gonna work someone.
Or is this only just because he's working in Clayton too?
I'm confused.
So am I.
Me too.
So this means that
Steve, did you call and talk to her? Remember I asked you if you would call and talk to her? So we
No,
both were on the same
slip on me.
wavelength?
I
Does this have to do with his appointment every year as
Yes.
officer
Well,
in charge?
So all of our officers, yes, on his part, yes, because he works full-time there, and he's working here also. He's not a police chief, he's not a recognizable
They don't recognize officer in charge.
officer in charge, correct. They don't acknowledge that as a position.
So,
if we adopted this, does that mean that it's not a reappointment each year? Or what do
No,
you
it's
mean?
still the same.
but we'd have to advertise?
No.
No, okay.
No, all we're doing,
It's
all
just
she said is,
changing
all
the
we're
title.
doing is changing the status from non-competitive to competitive.
To be compliant.
Is that safe, Jim?
I-
Cause I'm confused on
I'd
it.
have to look at the civil service law. I'm understanding what the topic is generally, but wasn't aware of the topic till just now.
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
have to double check.
We're not gonna jeopardize him in Clayton or anything, right?
from her standards, I mean, that's exactly what she told me. I wrote it verbatim, how
Because
she
if we,
said to word it,
because if we
so.
make him competitive here, will that knock him off being competitive up there? You know what I mean? Because he's doing two competitive jobs.
There we go.
Do you wanna check up?
Can
Can we table this for-
Can we wait on that? 'Cause
Yeah.
Well, they're not gonna certify us, but yeah, I mean,
Well,
it
how long-
has to hold.
How long have we got until we have to certify this?
Well, it's every month we get
Yeah.
certified. We have to send a certification every month.
Yeah,
Well, they haven't been
Okay,
certifying us before, so.
No, they send them back.
but it could,
Eventually, it's gonna affect us.
it's gonna
But at
impact
this point,
your
let's
funding.
wait and find out correctly.
Yeah, because I don't want, because if he's
If we can have
in
it,
Clayton the same way, can you be in two places being competitive with that many hours? You see where I'm going from on that?
And it's
That could be a
valid.
problem.
Salaries versus-
For,
Salary.
I don't want it to be a problem for Josh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll call tomorrow and see if I can get clarification.
Are we able to wait till next month's meeting to do it, or?
Sure.
We're,
We'll find
do I
out.
table it?
Yeah.
yeah,
Say,
yeah.
Is that through the state now? Is that through the county or the
Through
state?
county.
That's
Jefferson County.
Okay.
They're not even open anyway.
Yes, they are.
Okay, table.
I remember a while back when I first started, for some reason I was on the phone with her over something we were doing. When Marshall, I think, in there, and the big thing with them is the compliance, because if you're not compliant, eventually it affects your funding,
Yeah.
so if we could, if we check and if we have to do it sooner, then we have a,
So Steve, we table, motion to table.
I'd like to make a motion, we table until next meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Noel, second by trustee
Next
Palmer to table. Josh, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, next meeting will be quick too, because that'll be,
Anything else?
we need to be on the meeting, so it'll be fast.
Under new business, hopefully. Public concerns? Give it a couple minutes, 42-9902, 315-42-9902.
You want that back? You want that back?
No, that's fine. Got an electronic copy.
Okay. You have my email? I got all them other pictures, I need that.
May I say something? Thomas, if you're still listening, can we give you Molly's correct email address? Go ahead, Molly.
abayclerk@outlook.com.
Thank you. He sent some stuff today that she didn't get, because he sent it to the wrong.
I got it.
You got it, right, and I got it on my phone, but that old address is not on her computer anymore.
No public concerns, motion to, anybody have anything for executive?
I don't have anything, do you?
Mm,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion adjourned, 6:29. Moved by trustee Moore, second by trustee DeRiga to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 6:29.
All right. Okay, so we'll reach out to
Yeah.
Piazza?
Yes.
What-